SUV coupe or traditional SUV? Which one should you choose? Would you trade space for style? It's not as simple as it seems, and today, we're breaking it all down. Buckle up. This might change your mind. Hey everyone, SUVs are everywhere, but there's a new contender on the road, the SUV Coupe. These sleek, sporty-looking SUVs are grabbing attention left and right. But does style come at a cost? Or is the traditional SUV still the king of the road? Today we're putting them head-to-head so you can figure out which one actually fits your lifestyle. Let's jump in. What's the difference between an SUV coupe and a traditional SUV? Before we start picking sides, let's actually define what makes these two different. An SUV coupe is essentially an SUV with a sportier, more streamlined design. Think of it like an SUV that went to the gym and came out with a sharper, more aggressive look. The roofline slopes downward towards the back, making it look dynamic and fast, whether it's moving or just sitting in a parking lot. Some great examples? The BMW X6, Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe, and Audi Q8. Now, a traditional SUV sticks to its roots. It's got that classic, boxy shape that maximizes space and practicality. It's the one you can load up with kids, pets, camping gear, and still have room for a coffee cup and some snacks up front. Vehicles like the Toyota Highlander, Ford Explorer, and Honda CR-V fit this bill perfectly. So, which one is actually better? Well, that depends on what you're looking for. Let's start with looks, because let's be real, design is a huge factor for a lot of buyers. SUV coupes have a unique charm. That sloping roofline instantly makes them look more athletic, almost like they're in motion even when they're parked. In contrast, traditional SUVs stick to a more upright, boxy design, one that prioritizes function over flash. While an SUV coupe might turn heads, a traditional SUV ensures you get maximum interior space and practicality, making it a solid choice for families and road trips. If you want something that turns heads and makes people say, "Whoa, what is that?" then an SUV coupe is right up your alley. But, and this is a big but, that stylish roofline has a downside. It cuts into rear headroom and cargo space. So if you're over 6 feet tall or often have rear seat passengers, they might not love the experience. Now, traditional SUVs, they might not have that same wow factor in terms of style, but they're designed for function. You get a proper upright shape that gives you more interior space and a more comfortable ride for passengers in every row. Need to pack a ton of luggage, sports equipment, or groceries? A traditional SUV makes it easy. So if you prioritize style and don't mind sacrificing a little space, an SUV coupe is a great option. But if you need a practical vehicle for road trips, family outings, or everyday errands, the traditional SUV is hard to beat. Before we go any further, take a second to hit that like button if you're enjoying the breakdown, and let us know in the comments, which SUV style do you prefer? The sleek and sporty coupe, or the spacious and practical traditional SUV? And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more in-depth car comparisons. All right, let's keep going. Now let's talk about performance. And this is where things get interesting. SUV coupes aren't just about looks. They usually come with sportier handling too. Because of their aerodynamic design, they often feel more dynamic to drive. Many SUV coupes have turbocharged engines, adaptive suspension, and all-wheel drive, making them more responsive on twisty roads. It's like getting a little taste of a sports car, but with the practicality of an SUV. The lower center of gravity also contributes to better cornering and overall stability at high speeds, which makes them more fun to drive on highways and curvy roads. However, this sporty feel comes with a trade-off. SUV coupes generally have a firmer suspension setup, which means you might feel more bumps and imperfections on rough roads. They are built for performance, not necessarily for maximum comfort. Traditional SUVs, on the other hand, focus more on comfort and stability. They're built for smooth cruising, long road trips, and even some off-roading. The higher ride height and softer suspension make for a cushier drive, absorbing road imperfections much better than an SUV coupe. While they might not be as agile when taking tight turns, they offer a solid and planted feel on the road, making them great for families and people who want a stress-free driving experience. Plus, if you're planning on towing a trailer or heading into the great outdoors, a traditional SUV with four-wheel drive is the better option. So if you love a spirited drive and want something that feels engaging, the SUV Coupe is the way to go. But if you prioritize comfort, versatility, and off-road capability, a traditional SUV has the upper hand. Let's step inside and see what these SUVs offer in terms of interior space. SUV coupes have become popular for their sleek, sporty appearance, boasting that eye-catching, aggressive style with a sloping roofline that sets them apart from the more boxy traditional SUVs. While they might look like the perfect blend of utility and style, there are a few practical drawbacks to consider. One of the biggest compromises you'll find is in the back seat. Thanks to that downward slope, the rear passengers often experience less headroom and a more cramped environment, especially if they're taller. It's not the most comfortable for long rides, and taller adults may find themselves constantly ducking to avoid hitting their heads. And then there's the cargo space. The roofline that gives the SUV Coupe its sleek silhouette actually reduces the available vertical space inside the vehicle. So when it comes to packing up for a trip or hauling large items, you might find yourself facing a bit of a squeeze. If you're someone who frequently needs to transport bulky gear, shopping bags, or even camping equipment, you'll quickly notice the lack of space, and you may need to get creative with packing. Now contrast that with traditional SUVs. The more upright design of these vehicles gives you a whole lot more in terms of headroom, legroom, and cargo space. Whether you're loading up with kids, pets, or a week's worth of luggage, a traditional SUV offers plenty of room to fit everything comfortably. The flat roofline and spacious interior create a much more functional layout, where every inch is optimized to make your ride more convenient. If you're considering what's more important, style or practicality, SUV coupes certainly have their appeal when it comes to looks, but they often come at the cost of usable interior space. If functionality and space for your passengers and belongings are a top priority, traditional SUVs definitely take the lead, providing a far more comfortable and practical option. At the end of the day, it's all about finding the right balance for your needs. Another factor to consider is fuel efficiency. SUV coupes, thanks to their sleeker, more aerodynamic design, tend to experience less wind resistance at higher speeds. This can sometimes result in slightly better fuel economy compared to a traditional SUV of similar size, especially on highways. Some manufacturers even equip SUV coupes with smaller turbocharged engines or mild hybrid technology to further improve efficiency. However, this isn't always the case. Many SUV coupes prioritize performance, meaning they often come with larger, more powerful engines, sport-tuned transmissions, and aggressive throttle mapping. This added performance can lead to higher fuel consumption, especially if you tend to drive in a more spirited manner. Additionally, the wider tires and all-wheel drive systems commonly found in SUV coupes can slightly reduce efficiency. Traditional SUVs, on the other hand, tend to be heavier due to their boxy, robust build and reinforced chassis. This extra weight, combined with larger displacement engines and higher ground clearance, can impact fuel efficiency, particularly in city driving, where frequent stops and starts require more energy. If you opt for an all-wheel drive model or a V6/V8 engine, expect fuel economy to drop further. However, there's a trade-off. Traditional SUVs are built for versatility. Their durability, higher towing capacity, and ability to handle off-road conditions often outweigh the fuel efficiency concerns for buyers who need a capable, all-purpose vehicle. If your priority is saving on fuel costs, some newer traditional SUVs offer hybrid or plug-in hybrid options that help bridge the gap. So there you have it, SUV coupe versus traditional SUV. If you love bold, eye-catching design and a sportier drive, the SUV coupe might be calling your name. But if practicality, space, and everyday comfort matter more, a traditional SUV is the way to go. If you love bold, eye-catching design and a sportier drive, the SUV coupe might be calling your name. But if practicality, space, and everyday comfort matter more, a traditional SUV is the way to go. Check out our next video. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.